Hey guys, Troy here with GameBreaker TV, and on the line we've got a very special guest for all you Guild Wars 2 fans. Live from PAX South is Guild Wars 2 Game Director Colin Johanson. Colin, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So, it's official now. Guild Wars 2 is getting its first expansion. How are you guys feeling following the official reveal?
Feel awesome. It's been nice to finally be able to get up on a stage and tell people that it exists after hiding this secret for a long, long time. I think the reception has been overwhelmingly positive. Just a ton of excitement immediately after we were the #1 channel on Twitch during our announcement. And it's just been, honestly, it's been absolutely nuts in the less than, I guess, 24 hours or so since all that happened. We've seen the play numbers just shoot through the roof, and tons of people are pouring into Guild Wars. And yeah, it's a great day.
So new expansion definitely draws some interest back in the game then.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, already has, and you know we're not even up to a playable demo yet. So we're really excited to see the excitement everyone's given already about where we're going with the game.
So can you tell us a little bit about what it was that made you guys decide that this is the right time to introduce an expansion to the game?
Yeah, you know, ultimately we've actually been working on this expansion for quite a long time, and the focus of this expansion is really about kind of resetting the core fundamental systems we need to be able to grow Guild Wars 2 in the future. When the game originally came out, you know, we had a lot of fanfare and a lot of success, and a couple of key components to the game that we got a lot of feedback on of things people were looking for. You know, people wanted to see more exciting content at level 80 for the end game experience. They wanted to see harder content and harder challenges to defeat and overcome, and meaningful progression that allowed you to build your characters to overcome those challenges. They wanted to see guilds be a bigger part of the Guild Wars experience. And we took all of that feedback and we sat down and really built out a cohesive plan for where we want Guild Wars to be. And this isn't just an expansion. It really is it's a chance for us to apply the lessons and the knowledge that we've learned from Guild Wars 2 and kind of reimagine where our game will go in the future. And everything we're doing in this expansion is really laying a new framework for everything that we're going to be adding to Guild Wars after this expansion is released as well. So everything from a new endgame progression system called our Mastery system, where we're taking a hard stance against not adding gear grind to our game and level grind, and instead we're focusing more on a progression system where the journey is really more of the goal. Really compelling, difficult content for our players to defeat and overcome. And we're putting the guild back in Guild Wars and really doing meaningful guild content, adding guild halls and allowing guilds to progress and build their guild halls together and really own a chunk of our world. So that at its core, that's really what this expansion is all about.
The fans seem really excited for it. There's been a ton of speculation over the past few weeks. How hard was it to sort of keep quiet with everybody guessing expansion, and you just knew the whole time, yes, it's going to be expansion, but I can't tell you yet?
Oh, it's been so hard. I'm very proud of our team that no one let it slip. I'm shocked that we got this far and managed to pull off what we did yesterday with the announcement. It was really cool and really neat to see the genuine surprise on people's face in the room when we told them that it was an expansion. So yeah, it's been tough. You know, there's been many times in the previous months and even a few weeks where you know you really want to spill the beans, but I'm glad we didn't. I think it all paid off in the end.
So let's jump right into some of the content coming in the new expansion. With Heart of Thorns, we're getting a whole new zone to explore in the Maguma jungle. And you guys introduced the concept of masteries, which allows player progression past level 80, giving abilities that sounded like they were pretty specifically geared towards surviving in the jungle. Are these abilities going to be exclusive to the Maguma jungle, or will we be able to do things like hang glide across Tyria?
So it really depends on the ability, and the mastery system is actually game-wide. So we're going to be adding mastery lines back in the core Guild Wars 2 world as well, that you can earn and build your characters with, and the ability to earn mastery points in all 28 Guild Wars 2 maps that we have today on the live game. So this isn't, you know, when I really said this is a re-envisioning of how we build progression for Guild Wars 2. It's not just for the jungle. It's something we're doing for the entire game, and we're going to continue to do going forward. Some of the abilities from the mastery system are tied to specific areas or regions or specific creatures, and some of them are broader for the entire game. It really depends on feature by feature. Hang gliding is more than likely just going to be in the jungle, just because it would actually break pretty much every map we ever built before this. So it's pretty unlikely we're going to be able to back convert it, but most things we want to do is game-wide progression where we can.
Gotcha. Sounds awesome. Speaking of the older zones, can we expect the rest of Tyria to continue to grow while we're in the jungle? For example, is Lion's Arch going to be rebuilt? Is Aura going to begin to heal? Are things going to keep happening in the original zones?
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to give specific examples today of things that you might see, but I'll say that the concept of Guild Wars 2 as a living world is certainly something that will continue after this expansion as well. And with any future content that we build, you know, we use the living world to tell the story that led up to the release of our expansion, and did 40 free releases of content to our players that continued the story of our world, and continued different parts of the story of that world in all sorts of different locations. And we'll continue to do that again after the expansion is released. And we'll grow and continue the stories of the jungle, and we'll grow and continue the stories of the rest of the world of Guild Wars 2 as well, including the core world that we have today. There's a lot of stories left to be told in that world we're looking forward to.
Okay. Along with the masteries, you also introduced profession specializations, allowing existing professions to pick up a new weapon, learn new skills and abilities, and it sounded like it pretty fundamentally changes the way that profession is sort of played. The example you gave yesterday was a ranger specializing into a druid. When players go into that specialization, is that a permanent switch, or will players be able to switch back and forth between like the druid and the ranger?
It is not permanent. They actually, anytime they are outside of combat, they can swap between being a ranger and druid anytime they want. It's about as simple as swapping out your skills and traits in your character's build. And the druid can actually make use of a number of the abilities that the ranger has. So it can customize and really kind of play as a secondary profession, where the druid has unique profession mechanics that can combo with some of the skills that the ranger has, to build out new ways to play the game, on top of fundamentally just playing as a druid in all of its abilities. And, you know, just like the progression system, the specialization system is a framework that we can grow the game on in the future. And this idea of adding sort of these sub-professions to our professions is something that isn't just something we're doing for this expansion. That is the way that we're going to build out and grow all of our professions in the future as well.
So is picking up a specialization, is that like an unlock at level 80 kind of thing? Is it available from level 1? Is it tied to skill points? At what point does a specialization become available to a profession?
So you'll be able to get your specializations when you get to level 80, and we haven't yet talked about the details of how you unlock the specialization. That's something that we'll come back and cover a little bit further down the road. But it is character-based. You will unlock them on each individual character, as opposed to the mastery system, which is an account-based PvE ability system.
Okay. Is there only one specialization available for each profession?
Yeah, with Heart of Thorns, we will be shipping with one specialization for each profession. And then, as I said, it's a system that we'll continue to build on in the future as well.
Okay. So more big news, a whole new profession in the Revenant. The Revenant channels the power, great legends to control, the power of the mists. Can you tell us a little bit of how that's going to work with the channeling of the legends?
Yeah, and we're not going to go into too much detail right now on it. It's something we're actually going to bring a playable demo to PAX East here in the States, and to Res in Europe at the beginning of March, so people can check it out. Nice. But for today, the stuff I can say is you can pick a legend to channel, and the legend that you are currently channeling changes out a number of skills on your skill bar, and defines the role that your character, your Revenant, plays in combat. So, for example, if you're channeling the Dwarf King, Jalis, your character becomes extremely tanky, and you're really great to hold down the front lines of combat. You become harder, you get the abilities of the dwarves. If you swap over and you're channeling the Demon Malix, you master the ability to control conditions, and you can inflict a lot of DPS, condition damage, and you can help act as a support role and help get conditions off of party members as well. Those are just a couple examples of the types of things that Legends will do for you. And along with that, then you have all the fun weapon skills that the Revenant will have that channels the power of the mists into their weapons to go with these Legends that they can channel.
Okay. Being a brand new profession, is the Revenant gonna have a specialization too, or is it just kind of the base profession right now?
We are going to deliver a specialization for the Revenant as well with launch of Heart of Thorns.
Okay, that sounds awesome. At some point in the past, you guys had kind of said it was probably more likely that you were going to open up more weapons to more professions and races over a totally new profession. What was the point where you guys changed your mind to go towards an entirely new profession, and can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I was the one specifically who said, I think we're going to do races before professions. So I'll own that and say, hey, we changed our mind. We looked into it. Yeah, true enough. Ultimately what we realized is, adding a new race to Guild Wars 2 really doesn't add that much gameplay. It doesn't change the way you play minute to minute. It doesn't really add much in the way of skills or content. And a profession does. A profession fundamentally adds an entire new way to play the game. In this case, with the Revenant, a lot of new ways to play the game between each of the different legends and the new specialization for it. It gives you minute-to-minute gameplay. It gives you long-term goals and a great reason to make a new character. And we feel like a race just doesn't provide nearly as much gameplay for our players as a profession would. And so that's why we picked that for this expansion.
Okay. Well, I'd say the biggest crowd reaction, and it was awesome that you guys made this announcement in front of a live crowd because that added so much more to it. But definitely the biggest reaction was when you said the words Guild Hall. The crowd absolutely ate that up. How extensive are the Guild Halls going to be? As much as you can say right now, what's sort of the vision going forward for the Guild Halls?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I think people just about lost it on Guild Halls. That was quite the reaction. I'm glad we saved that one for last.
Yes.
Yeah. So overall, the biggest thing that we're shooting for is we want to put the guild back in Guild Wars. We really want to make guilds a fundamental part of the Guild Wars experience. Everything from the decision to make Stronghold the game mode that we picked for our new game mode for PvP, to building guild ladders for PvP so that guilds can build teams and fight to prove who are the best guilds in the world in PvP, to bringing back guild halls. And then the things we're going to do with guild halls, we're going to evolve the concept of a guild hall and make it not just a place for guilds to hang out, but a true home that they build and grow together, a place where they gather to go and explore and do content in our world and to face great challenges, and a place for guilds to progress. We want to have meaningful guild progression in our game. And make that something that we regularly update and build on, just like the mastery system and specializations as well. That's about all the detail I can go into today.
Mm-hmm.
Down the road, we're going to do a lot of deep dives on guilds and spend a lot of time talking through all the things that we're doing to support guilds and how guild halls will work. But from a fundamental direction, that's really what we're shooting for guilds.
Now, have you guys decided yet if guild halls are going to be a renting system like the PvP the PvP arenas, or more of a one-time fee and maybe some upkeep costs or something? Have you guys made those decisions yet?
We're not at the point where we're ready to talk about those details entirely yet. That's included in kind of the stuff. We'll come back and talk in more detail about guild halls later.
All right. Well, we've probably just about used up all of our time, but I've got one more question for you, Colin, and it's probably the most important question all day, and it's just a one-word question. And this comes from the hosts of our Game Breaker Nation, the Guild Wars 2 show. And the question is, Cantha?
It is an interesting place, I'm told.
All right. Well, thank you so very much for talking with us. We certainly appreciate it and hope to talk to you again in the future.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Troy. And tell Gary I said hey.
I definitely will. That's Colin Johanson, ladies and gentlemen, Guild Wars 2 Game Director. And you can get all the latest info on the newly announced Guild Wars 2 expansion, Heart of Thorns, right here on Game Breaker TV.